There's a certain kind of man women never forget. Not because he was rich. Not because he was handsome. Not because he played games or won them. They remember him because he left a mark, a psychological imprint. A force that lingers even when he's long gone. You've seen it. Years later, she's moved on, built a new life, but mention his name, her pupils shift. Her breath changes. Something deep inside remembers. Why? Because some men move differently. They are not chasing validation. They are not performing. They are anchored. They don't run after energy, they generate it. They don't adapt to chaos, they command calm. These men don't impress women. They imprint them. And that imprint is not built from tricks or words, it's carved through presence, discipline, and power. Here are 6 laws that make a man unforgettable. Do them, not to impress women, but to become the kind of man no one forgets. Let's begin. 1. The man who chooses himself first. Most men lose women because they lose themselves first. They abandon their mission to secure attention. They trade their edge for acceptance. And once they do, they become forgettable. Every woman feels it, the moment you start orbiting her life instead of living yours. At first, she may smile at your devotion. Then slowly, the attraction dies. Not because she's cruel, but because instinctively, women are drawn to men who lead their own path. Choosing yourself is not selfishness. It's sovereignty. It's waking up and deciding that your peace, your growth, your purpose come before every distraction, even romantic ones. The world respects men who protect their time, their energy, and their ambition. When a man has his own gravity, everything, including love, rotates around him. When you choose yourself, you stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop begging to be understood. You become solid. And women remember solidity. They may argue with it, resist it, test it, but they never forget it. Practical application. Never cancel your priorities for emotional comfort. Schedule your mission before your romance. When you feel the urge to overgive, ask, am I doing this from strength or fear? The man who chooses himself builds an empire. The man who doesn't becomes a servant in someone else's. That's law 1. Be the one who chooses himself first. 2. The man who walks away calmly. There is a silence that speaks louder than 1,000 words, the silence of a man who does not chase closure. Every woman remembers the man who could walk away without noise. No shouting. No begging. No, please understand. Just stillness. Stillness wrapped in self-respect. That moment, that calm exit, echoes. Because most men fall apart when tested. They react, they rage, they crumble. But a man who walks away with clarity and quietness, that man plants a memory that haunts pride and commands respect. It's not about emotional coldness. It's about control. Control says, you cannot disturb what's centered. The truth is this. You don't earn respect by demanding it. You earn it by being unmoved. When you walk away with peace, you communicate one thing. My worth doesn't live in your validation. That realization, that power, brands itself into the subconscious. And months later, when she meets men who fold at the first sign of rejection, she remembers you. The man who stayed calm while everything burned. Practical application. When emotions rise, delay response. Never text or call to prove your worth, let silence do the work. Build a ritual that anchors your calm, breath work, cold showers, meditation. Because the man who controls his reactions controls his reputation. And the man who controls his reputation controls the memory others keep of him. Be unforgettable by mastering your exit. 3. The man who protects his mission above all. There's one truth that separates men who are remembered from men who are used. Purpose. A man without a mission is a leaf in the wind, blown by every emotion, every temptation, every opinion. But a man with a mission, he's a storm. He moves with direction. Women don't fall in love with men, they fall in love with how a man moves through the world. When your life has momentum, your presence becomes addictive. Mission gives you energy that no perfume or pickup line can replicate. It gives your voice weight, your absence value, your decisions clarity. Every great man that history remembers was defined not by what he owned, but by what he pursued relentlessly. From Marcus Aurelius writing in war to modern men building empires, the constant is mission before emotion. When a woman meets a man consumed by his craft, his eyes on something bigger than comfort, Chef feels that. She can't control him. She can only respect him. And when he's gone, she remembers not the small talk, but the feeling of being near that intensity. Practical application. Write down your single non-negotiable mission for the next 5 years. Build your day around it. Not your relationships. Filter opportunities and people through one question: does this advance my mission or dilute it? Men who protect their mission build legacies. Men who don't, build dependencies. Purpose first. Everything else follows. 4. The man who embodies discipline, not desire. Desire makes you human. Discipline makes you divine. Every woman eventually sees the difference between a man controlled by impulse and a man guided by discipline. One is temporary pleasure. The other is timeless power. The disciplined man doesn't react to every emotion, he directs them. He doesn't drown in lust, he channels it. He doesn't need external control because his internal kingdom is fortified. This doesn't mean emotionless living. It means mastered emotion. Because nothing is more attractive, or unforgettable, than a man who feels deeply but remains unshaken. In the modern world, discipline is rebellion. When most men crumble to dopamine, the phone, the body, the escape, the disciplined one becomes rare. And as we already know, rarity creates remembrance. Practical application. Wake before sunrise and do one difficult thing daily, something that breaks comfort. Practice restraint, food, sex, speech, or pleasure, master at least one. Document your consistency, build visible proof of your control. The Stoics said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom is not the absence of rule, it is the presence of order. The disciplined man may not be the loudest in the room, but he is always the one remembered when the room empties. 5. The man who radiates emotional control. Let me tell you something brutal: no woman respects a man she can emotionally predict. If your moods swing with hers, if her silence breaks your peace, if her validation decides your day, you're not a partner, you're a puppet. Control is not suppression. It's understanding. It's looking at chaos and saying, I choose my reaction. When you master emotional control, people feel it. Your energy becomes still. You make others slow down in your presence. You become the eye of the storm. The truth: women feel safest around men who are emotionally composed. Not emotionless, composed. Because control signals leadership, maturity, and inner weight. And when you are gone, she remembers that. Not the gifts, not the words, the feeling of being anchored by your calm. Practical application. Identify your triggers. List the things that break your peace. Confront them in small doses until reaction becomes observation. Practice emotional neutrality in conversation, don't rush to defend or fix. Just listen. Emotional control is not charm. It's command. And command is unforgettable. 6. The man who lives by principle, not preference. The final law, the one that burns itself into memory, is principle. Principles are the invisible spine of the masculine. They tell the world, you cannot buy me, bend me, or break me. When you have principles, clear, lived, enforced, you project strength beyond muscle or money. Because integrity is the rarest currency left. Women never forget a man who stands on something. Even if she disagrees with you. Even if it ends. She will respect you, because you didn't fold. A man who stands for nothing is blown by everything. A man who stands for something cannot be ignored. Practical application. Write down your personal code, what you tolerate, what you reject, what you serve. Test yourself daily. Compromise once, and it becomes habit. Lead with conviction even when it costs comfort. Principled men are not always liked, but they are always remembered. To be unforgettable, do not seek to be loved. Seek to be defined. Become the kind of man whose presence leaves an imprint, not from manipulation, but from mastery. You don't have to dominate anyone. Just own yourself completely. Because when you walk this earth with purpose, calm, and principle, the world feels it. And when you leave, the echo remains. Women never forget the man who chose himself, walked away calm, guarded his mission, mastered his impulses, ruled his emotions, and lived by principle. Not because he played the game better, but because he became the standard.